Thanks, Joel. So at 1 o'clock, you'll see a release in your inboxes, and the university is going to announce that we're going to include the our tomorrow, include a new UNI wrestling facility, fundraising efforts for that as part of the Our Tomorrow campaign. So before we can do any planning in terms of conceptual renderings, that sort of thing, we're going to need to get the Board of Regents to approve any planning, but we're hopeful that we might have some concepts that we can share at UNI Wrestling Day. That date's still TBD, so I'm happy to answer any questions you may have, knowing that it's a few minutes away from when this will be official. So.
Is this a new facility, a renovated West Gym?
Yeah, the West Gym is no longer an option for any for any of our sports in terms of office space or competition training space. So yeah, we would need to. The goal is to have an on-campus dedicated training facility to replicate what they had or improve on what they had in terms of square footage at the West Gym.
Do you have a location already kind of earmarked?
No, we don't, right? And again, that's as a public institution, we're subject to the Iowa Board of Regents and their facilities committees. So we've got to get the blessing to go ahead and start plans, and then take a look at if we get those approved, where options may be to put a facility. We do have a number of options over here in kind of an athletics footprint. We've got other locations on campus, so really that's a down the road conversation. But the main thing is we need to get people on board to, we've got a passionate wrestling fan base, not only here at UNI, but across the state of Iowa. And across the nation, who's very invested in the success of our student athletes here at UNI. So that's really where we need to start, is making sure we the amount of money we raise is going to dictate the type and scope and scale of what type of facility that we're able to construct.
Given the circumstances with what wrestling has as a practice facility right now, did that provoke the athletics department to go toward the university side and to ask about this being folded into the Our Tomorrow campaign, or was maybe the university side of things proactive in communication with the athletics department saying, we see this as something that may need to be folded into the Our Tomorrow campaign?
Really, it's a conversation that's been ongoing with both athletics and the university administration of finding a on-campus solution, a long-term solution for UNI wrestling. They are the only one of our varsity intercollegiate athletics programs that had a dedicated training space on campus, and certainly we would aspire that maybe more of our sports, would have that opportunity down the road. But given the unique nature of wrestling and the fact that so much of that time and energy is spent in the wrestling room, in order to, try to get a plan that can get them back on campus as soon as possible. And again, knowing that this has to go before the regents and we've got a lot of work to do, but it was really driven by the fact that we did not anticipate that the West Gym would have to be vacated, while everybody on campus was aware that West Gym had issues and was not, its functional lifespan wasn't long. We did not anticipate that the West Gym would have to be vacated this summer, and we were still hopeful that after some structural improvements that would stabilize things, and that just wasn't the case. So in many respects, while the West Gym has been on the radar of athletics and university officials for a number of years, that a replacement would have to come online at some point, the building told us that its functional lifespan was over, and so that really sped up the process of determining what a long-term on-campus solution would look like.
You've mentioned on-campus a couple of times. Currently, they're off-campus. What's the value to having an on-campus training facility for an athletics program?
Yeah, I think the proximity to classes, to residence halls, to dining facilities, to everything else that is part of being a student here at UNI. You want, you don't want any of our groups to be, any further from campus than feasible. You want them to have the same college experience as, a non-student athlete to the degree possible in terms of, the academics, the dining, the residence hall, all that. So, and this is their home. UNI Wrestling is entering its 100th season, and it's been a real strong part of the fabric of this university. It's been a real strong part of UNI's identity for a long time, and so we want to find every way to keep those folks or get that team back on campus. Once we have a facility that meets their needs.
In the last 5-year plan, there was $15 million that was projected to go towards a basketball facility in 2025. That's not on the 5-year plan that's been submitted to Board of Regents. Is there any plans? What's the situation going on there?
Yeah, I can't speak specifically to basketball, but I do know that there is an appetite, there is a desire to have training facilities for both the men and the women, and again that's a conversation that has been going on for some time. I do like to mention that one of the original concepts from the McLeod Center did have concepts that included training facilities for both basketballs and the wrestling programs. So that's been a topic that's been discussed for some time. And, that would be a wonderful development if, we were able to have training facilities for all those sports.
When is the next Board of Regents meeting that can get presented?
Yeah, there's actually a November Board of Regents meeting here on campus, and so we hope to submit all the necessary paperwork to get this on the agenda for that meeting.
But what makes this fundraising effort a fit for the Our Tomorrow campaign, given how unique it is in the collaboration versus maybe being solely an athletics effort?
Yeah, and that's one of the things that was discussed at length of how does this fit into the campaign. And one of the biggest components of the campaign is scholarships and academic programs and really things that are geared towards student success. And so when you think about student success, this is one that really directly impacts some student athletes who've been displaced from their campus home. It speaks to a program that's been displaced, and so again, that part, you think about not only the fact that we have a wrestling program that competes at a high level nationally, but they had the 4th best grade point average of any Division I wrestling program in the country. So the level of which that program and those student athletes represent this university, it's really an extenuating circumstance that they've been displaced, even though the issues at the West Gym have been on the radar and plans have been developed in terms of how long we thought as a university and facilities unit that they could stay in there. But the West Gym, to a degree, has told us that you need to go to another plan, and so that's where we've gone, and that's why again the student success piece is really where it fits in the campaign.
Of all the conversations, is there, given the fact that the West Gym's not a viable building, is there any conversation about destruction of the West Gym and building in that same spot?
Not really at this point. Again, the Board of Regents is the owner of all these facilities, and so that's a little bit premature to talk about what the next steps are for that building, other than the fact that we don't have anybody in there at present, that we've relocated the coaches who were housed in that building, as well as now the wrestling training facility.
This is probably an impossible and unfair question, but I'll ask it anyway. Best case scenario, when do we see shovels in the ground for this?
That's really subject to how quickly we can raise money. One of the other projects in the Art Tomorrow campaign is the Gallagher Blue Dorn Performing Arts Center. The Campanil renovation has been part of that. The dome renovation is part of the campaign. So specific to the Campanil project, specific to Gallagher Blue Dorn, once we reached a threshold where we felt we could get the necessary money to finish the project, once we got to a threshold where we could begin work, we did begin work. If you've been past Gallagher Blue Dorn, there's a lot of work going on, both exterior and interior with that building. So again, it depends on how quickly we can raise the necessary funds to get started.